I work at a Sydney cafe, and this American woman ordered a flat white. Simple enough. She took one sip and said, "This isn't a latte." I told her it wasn't supposed to be. She insisted I'd made it wrong. A flat white is just a small latte with less foam. I explained that flat whites have different ratios, microfoam texture, and espresso strength. She wasn't having it. I've been drinking coffee for 20 years. I know what a latte is. I told her this wasn't a latte. She demanded I remake it properly. I made her an actual latte. She tasted it and said, "See? Now it's right." She left a review saying our baristas don't know the difference between drinks, and that we tried to scam her with a smaller latte. The kicker? She gave us 3 stars because at least they fixed it when I complained. My coworker handled an American who asked if our kangaroo burgers were ethically sourced. We don't serve kangaroo burgers. We're a cafe. He pointed at the menu board where it clearly said, Angus burger. He squinted and said, "That's a weird way to spell kangaroo." When we explained Angus was beef, he asked why we'd lie about having kangaroo. Everyone knows Australians eat kangaroo. We told him some do, but not here. He left disappointed, muttering about false advertising. Another American asked our cashier if we accepted normal money. She meant USD. We told her Australian dollars only. She pulled out a $50 American bill and said, "This should cover it." The coffee was $6 Australian. She genuinely thought her money was universal. Australians don't sugarcoat anything. We say what we mean. Americans? They expect cushioning. That clash creates comedy gold. A guy from Texas checked into our Brisbane hotel and asked about the gym. I told him it was on level 2. He asked what time it opened. I said 6 a.m. He asked if it was actually 6 or Australian 6. I had no idea what that meant. He explained that in America, places say they open at 6 but really mean 6:15. I told him we meant 6. He showed up at 6:10 and complained that he'd missed 10 minutes because he didn't want to be early. I told him he was late, not the gym. He said I should have warned him we were literal about time. He spent the week testing this. Breakfast at 7? He'd arrive at 7:12 and act shocked it started at 7. Pool closes at 9? He'd jump in at 9:05 and argue that close meant start closing. When I told him checkout was 10 a.m., he asked if that was real 10. I said yes. He checked out at 10:20 and seemed offended we'd called his room at 10:05. His review mentioned our aggressive punctuality and lack of flexibility. He docked us a star because hospitality means accommodating guests, not rigid schedules. Mate, hospitality means we tell you the truth so you can plan accordingly. An American family ate at our Melbourne steakhouse and asked for recommendations. Our waiter said the ribeye was excellent but expensive. The dad seemed taken aback. "You're not supposed to mention the price." Our waiter was confused. The dad explained that in America, servers recommend without talking cost because it's tacky. Our waiter said he was helping them decide. The dad insisted it made him feel cheap for asking. They ordered the ribeye. When the bill came, the dad complained it was too expensive. Our waiter reminded him he'd warned them. The dad said, "You're supposed to let me figure that out myself." The mum chimed in, asking why our waiter wasn't nicer about it. He'd literally tried to help them avoid sticker shock. They left a tiny tip and a note saying our service was rude and money-focused. The next table overheard and asked our waiter for his honest opinion on everything. They were Australian. They appreciated the straight talk. A woman from California visited our Sydney pharmacy asking for sleeping pills. Our pharmacist asked about her sleep issues. She said jet lag. He recommended melatonin and mentioned it might take a few days to adjust. She asked if there was something stronger. He said not without a prescription and asked if she'd seen a doctor. She said no but insisted she knew her body and just needed the good stuff. He explained that stronger sleep aids required medical oversight. She accused him of being judgmental about her needs. He said he wasn't judging, just following regulations. She demanded to speak with another pharmacist. The other pharmacist said the same thing. She asked if they were trained to deny customers. They explained they were trained to ensure safety. She left and posted online about how Australian pharmacists interrogate you like criminals instead of just helping. She claimed American pharmacies trust their customers and don't make you feel bad for asking. Mate, we're not making you feel bad. We're making sure you don't accidentally harm yourself. That's the job. A couple from Florida booked our Great Barrier Reef tour and asked if we guaranteed turtle sightings. Our guide said no, they're wild animals. The husband asked what the typical success rate was. Our guide said most trips see turtles but nothing's guaranteed. The wife asked if we'd refund them if they didn't see any. Our guide said no, we can't control nature. They seemed shocked. The husband said in America, tours, make sure you get what you paid for. Our guide explained they were paying for the boat trip and guidance, not specific animal appearances. The wife asked if we could try harder to find turtles. Our guide said we always look but can't force wildlife to appear. They saw 3 turtles. Afterward, they complained we only saw 3 and that American tours would have found more. Our guide pointed out they just said they were worried about seeing none. The husband said that was before we knew what was possible. They wanted a partial refund for under-delivering. We reminded them we'd never promised a specific number. They left a review saying we set low expectations to avoid accountability. A guy from Seattle joined our Blue Mountains hiking tour and asked how difficult it was. Our guide said moderate with some steep sections. He asked if that meant challenging for beginners or actually hard. Our guide said if he had basic fitness, he'd be fine. The guy nodded confidently. I do CrossFit, so I'm good. 20 minutes in, he was struggling. Our guide offered breaks. He refused, insisting he was just warming up. An hour later, he was lagging behind, drenched in sweat. Our guide asked if he wanted to turn back. He said no, he'd paid for the full experience. By hour 2, he was sitting on a rock, panting. Our guide radioed for assistance. While waiting, he asked why our guide didn't warn him it was this hard. Our guide reminded him of the steep sections mentioned. He said that was vague and we should have been more specific. Our guide pointed out he'd also claimed to be very fit. He said, CrossFit gyms have air conditioning. He left a review criticizing our misleading difficulty ratings and saying American tours prepare you better. An American woman visited our Tasmanian wildlife sanctuary and asked if she could hold a koala. Our handler said no, it stresses them out. She asked if she could, just for a second. Our handler explained that even brief handling disrupts them. She said she'd be gentle and had experience with animals. Our handler asked what experience. She said she had a cat. She insisted she'd seen photos of people holding koalas. Our handler explained that's only allowed in certain states under strict conditions, and Tasmania wasn't one of them. She asked if we could make an exception. Our handler said no. She accused us of false advertising because our brochure said koala encounters. Our handler showed her the brochure. It said photo opportunities near koalas, not holding them. She argued that encounter implied physical contact. Our handler said it meant seeing them up close. She demanded a manager. The manager repeated everything. She said American zoos let you interact, and that we were robbing tourists of experiences. She posted a review claiming we bait and switch visitors and don't care about customer happiness. Mate, we care about koala happiness. They live here. A businessman from New York came into our Darwin car rental and asked for an SUV. I confirmed his booking and mentioned he'd need to adjust to driving on the left. He waved me off. I drive in Manhattan. I can handle anything. I told him it takes a moment to adjust, but he'd be fine with focus. He said, I've driven in 12 countries. This'll be easy. He returned 3 hours later, furious. He'd sideswiped a parked car turning right. I asked if he was okay. He ignored that and demanded to know why we didn't warn him about right turns. I reminded him I'd mentioned driving on the left. He said that was too general, and I should have specifically explained turn dynamics. I asked if he'd ever driven on the left before. He admitted no. I pulled up his contract where he'd confirmed understanding local road rules. He said everyone clicks that, and we should have made sure he understood. I asked what exactly he wanted us to do. He said American rental companies walk you through everything. I pointed out he'd insisted he was experienced and rushed through pickup. He said that's because you made it seem simple. The damage bill was $2,000. He wanted us to waive it because of our insufficient warnings. I explained the contract was clear. He threatened to dispute the charge with his credit card company. I told him to do what he needed. He said Australian businesses don't value customer relationships and that we were hiding behind fine print. He left a scathing review saying we target tourists with confusing road systems and don't properly educate renters. He claimed American companies actually care about preventing accidents. Mate, you said you didn't need help. We believed you. That's called taking you at your word. Here's the thing. Americans often mistake our directness for rudeness. We're not being mean. We're being clear. We figure honesty up front prevents problems later. Americans seem to prefer soft phrasing and gentle letdowns. When we skip that and say it straight, they think we're attacking them. But here's what's wild. The Americans who adapt to our style love it. They say it's refreshing not to decode subtext or wonder what people really mean. They appreciate knowing where they stand. The ones who struggle are those expecting everyone everywhere to communicate like Americans do. We'll keep being direct. It's who we are. If that bothers you, maybe Australia isn't your spot. But if you appreciate honesty without the fluff, you'll fit right in. Fair dinkum.